Well, good morning and welcome back to the Weight Escape. I am honored that Lisa has said yes to come on today. Lisa is a yoga instructor. She's actually got a really neat story. Um, Leaving some work, starting a business, becoming a yoga instructor, really learning how to kind of calm herself in the middle of a lot of things going on. And I'm super, super excited because she's actually going to talk today about creating calm in chaos, which, as we know, with the pandemic going on and everything going on around us and our world changing so quickly, I think it's really important that we learn tools to be able to kind of step back. How do we bring that crazy, crazy, crazy all the way up here or all the time up here? Bring us down a little bit, get a little bit of clarity, a little bit of reflection, a little bit of, kind of that downtime, because it seems like even though some of us may not be working, some of us maybe go with kids or homeschooling kids, we still need to come down a little bit because there's a lot going on. So welcome, Lisa. I'm so happy you said yes. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, thank you, Jen. Thanks for having me. It's a privilege to be here. My name is Lisa Lind. My passion is to help families live healthier, happier, more balanced lives through yoga, meditation, and nutrition. So I did become a yoga instructor in 2016. But stepping back, I've practiced yoga on and off for about 20 years.
Wow.
So kind of like went in and out of it. Did a lot of different workouts in my life. I have a degree in physical education, so I was always trying every workout around, but always came back to yoga.
Nice.
Like I needed it more, so I started doing it for my body,
Mm.
but I realized very quickly that I needed it more for
Ah,
my mind. And just like everybody out there, just you have a lot going on in the world, right? You got mom, I'm a wife, I'm working, I'm running here, I'm running there. Um, I needed to come back and find my me time and really come back to who am I and what do I stand for? Instead of taking care of everybody else, I needed to step back and take care of me first because we can't pour from an empty cup, can we?
nope.
Yeah. So in 2018, I made a pretty big change in my life. I left a job that I had been at, a career really more than a job. I had been there for 20 years. It was a small family-run company, and let's face it, I was making good money. I had some flexibility, but the reality of the situation was it was a toxic environment, and
Mm.
I needed to step away. And took a leap of faith and left. I still work in that industry as my day job. I'm in the grocery industry, but went out with a partner on my own. So now I am a manufacturer's rep for the grocery industry, and I do call that my day job. My passion job is the yoga instructor, the meditation, and helping people, what I call creating calm and chaos. So also in 2018, when I made that big change, I was at a yoga retreat that I had booked, like a year prior. And it was during a journaling session at that retreat that I really, after the session, I looked at my notes and I had an outline for this workshop. And what it is, it's four tools for creating a sense of calm within you, regardless of what's going on outside of you and in the outside world. And those tools are breath work, movement, meditation, and journaling. So those are my four tools. So it was at this retreat that I look at my journal and I go, I really have the outline here for something that I think other people need. I know these things have worked for me in the past. I can't assume that the rest of the world has these tools. I need to share it. So that's how I got involved. And I've done workshops. I used to do live in-person workshops back when we could do that. But obviously, since March, I've taken it digital. And I've done it for individuals, and I also work for companies who, specifically, the last one I did was for a real estate company. So they really were providing, I love this, and I encourage If you're a business owner and you can do this for your people, like they created a Wellness Wednesday. So it was their normal Zoom call, but on Wednesdays, it was all focused on wellness. And I was privileged to be a part of that. And I did um, 4 different weeks of Wednesdays, and we went through one each week, one of our tools, and then kind of culminated with the whole workshop. So if you don't mind, today what I'd love to do is take us all through just an abbreviated version of my Creating Calm and Chaos workshop and just share those tools with you.
Awesome. I think this is going to be great.
So excited to share it with you. So 1 second, let me just grab a drink.
Sure.
And we're going to start with breath. So a lot of times when we get stressed or anxious, we're breathing from here. We all know that feeling. Our heart's like coming out of our chest and it's all coming from here. And what I don't think we realize is when we're in that chest breathing, we're really activating the sympathetic nervous system. And that is our fight or flight. We all know that we're like, I got to get out of here, or you just kind of sit and you freeze, right? So what we want to do is we want to get out of that sympathetic nervous system. We want to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest state. So, like after a really good workout, or you wake up from a nap, or whatever is your thing, when you just kind of feel like you can breathe, that's where we want to be. And there's so many benefits to being in that parasympathetic state. It reduces your heart rate. It's great for blood pressure. It helps with anxiety. Just endless what the benefits are. So there's a couple different types of breathing that we can do. The first one is belly breathing. So if you were to just put your hand right on your belly and one on your chest, and just take a big inhale through your nose, and really think about expanding your belly. So feel that belly breath. And then exhale, let the belly fall. Inhale through the nose, let the belly rise, and exhale, belly falls. Inhale, and exhale. And this is really something, that type of breath you can do anywhere you are. You can do it in your car, at your desk at work. And after a few rounds, it takes a little while, because what you're doing is you're getting that mind-body connection. And some of us, we haven't practiced that our whole lives. We just breathe because luckily our body does that intuitively. But once you can get that mind-body connection, you can do it anywhere. Another kind of breathing that I'd like to share with you all is what I like to call calm breathing. And this takes a little bit more thought process. So maybe you do your belly breathing, for a few days, maybe a couple weeks, until you really get that mind-body connection. And then you can move on to a calm breath. And what we do here is we inhale for the count of 4. We hold at the top for the count of 2. And then we exhale for the count of 4. And we go right back into that process again. So let's just take a big clearing breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Let it all go. And then sit nice and tall. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. And hold. And exhale. 2 more rounds. Inhale. Hold it. And exhale. Now come back to your normal breath. So just take a second here, and I'd love to know, Jen, if you feel just a little bit more relaxed.
I do. The first one was hard. It was almost like, hold, what? No, 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 I don't want to hold. But
Yeah,
the second or third one, it's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, it's starting to.
yeah. So again, it doesn't take a lot. Maybe you just have time to do 5 rounds of this breath and understanding that those first couple rounds are going to be hard. But then you kind of ease back into it. And there's more. There's so many different types of breath work that we can do, but this is just touching on a couple today. So that's our number one tool. So we can plug that into our toolbox, right? Put that away. We've got breathing. We can come back to that anytime that we need to. Second is movement. And of course, if you can get up and go for a walk, get outside, move your body, I always recommend that, right? There's something about being in nature. And if you can take your shoes off and walk in the grass, call that grounding, even better. And I know people look at me and tell me, you're crazy, whatever, I'm not 5. But there is something about the electromagnetic field of the earth that really does ground us. And that's about all I know about that. That's as far as I can go. But I'm sure you could find resources about grounding if you want to. But let's face it, there are times when we just can't get out. We can't get out. We can't get out for a walk. We're working. We're on a deadline. We're stuck at our desk. And, we just can't get out. We've got people working around us. We can't even stand up to do our stretching. So what I want to show you today are just a few movements that you can do anywhere. You can do in your car when you're parked, please, or when you're in your office, and you just need a chair. And I'm in a rolling chair today. If you have a rolling chair, just be careful. And then just sit nice and tall so you can have your bum back towards the back of the seat, but have your back nice and straight and kind of pulled away from the back. So you're using your abdomen and your core to keep you upright. You're not sinking back into that chair, because a lot of times that's what we do all day long. So we want to sit nice and tall. You can just put your hands on your knees, and we're going to go to that breath, and we're just going to take 4 clearing breaths. So we'll inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. 3 more times. Last 2. And 1 more time. And we're just going to take a gaze down. So tuck your chin, get a stretch on the back side of the neck, and bring your head back through center. If your neck is healthy, you can take a gentle gaze up. Otherwise, just stay looking straight ahead if you have any neck issues at all. And then we just tuck the chin, back up through center. Lift the chin just a little if it's comfortable for you. 1 more time, tuck the chin. And a gentle gaze up. Then we'll meet back in center as we look over our right shoulder. Come back through center and gaze over your left shoulder. 1 more round each side. So gaze to the right, through center, and to the left. Meeting back at center, we're going to take our ear to our shoulder. So right ear, right shoulder, and then take your left arm, your opposite arm, and reach it out. That's going to give you a little deeper stretch through the neck. Bring everything back to center and take it over to the other side. Reaching long with that arm for some extra stretch. And 1 more time each way. And to the left. And back through center. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Clasp your hands. And then the palms of your hands toward the ceiling. Bring those arms down in front of you. curl from the shoulders. So it's a C curve of the spine, and then tuck your chin. And then come back up through center. Release those hands and then reach behind you. And this may be as far as you can get. It's really how open your chest is as far as you can go. Maybe you're really flexible and you can get behind you, but you don't have to be there. You can be right here. Just open up that chest. We spend so much time hunched over a computer, hunched over a steering wheel, hunched over our phones. It's super important to get that openness through the chest. And then bring your right arm across your chest. Use your left arm to kind of pull it down. And we'll switch it out. Now bring that left arm up overhead like you're reaching for your shoulder blade, and you can use your right hand to push that elbow back. And then bring it the other way. And drop it down. We'll set our hands on our knees. And if you've done any yoga or stretching, you might be familiar with cat-cow, where we do that on all fours from a tabletop position. If you're in an office, that's probably frowned upon to get on the floor and do cat-cow. So what you can do is from your seat, sit nice and tall, your hands are on your knees, and then inhale, pull your chest forward. And then as you exhale, C-curve the spine, pull the belly in, tuck your chin to round down. Inhale, come up and pull your chest forward. Exhale, pull your belly in, round your shoulders, C-curve the spine, and look towards your belly. And then meet back in center. And there are some other leg stretches that you can do as well. Those will all be included on the worksheet that I think, Jen, you can upload as well. Just for the sake of time, I think we will skip that for now, and we'll move on to our next step, our next tool, and that is journaling. And journaling can be what I've found can be intimidating, I think, right? And I want to tell you that there's no right way to journal. There are many ways to journal, and you can journal on just a sheet of paper with a pen. I'm kind of a journal addict, so I find all of these great journals like at TJ Maxx and Marshalls. They always have the best. So I have many of these, and they're just blank pages that you can write in. And then another journal that I've been liking lately, that I actually purchased this one online. It's called the Daily Prayer Journal, and it's kind of a prayer prompt. So these are just kind of examples of what you could use. I do know people that use their phones to journal, just like on the notes. For me personally, there's something to taking the pen to paper that gets my creative juices flowing or lets me get all that information out. For me, I just spend way too much time on devices that it's been most beneficial for me to do pen and paper, but by all means, whatever works for you. So a couple different kinds of journaling. Obviously, if you have like this daily prayer journal, it's gonna walk you through exactly what you need to do. So it's a structured way to journal, which I like, but I also like just free pages where I can just write whatever's on my mind. And you can do a gratitude journal. A lot of times right before you go to bed, it's nice to just kind of jot down 3 things that you're grateful for, and then you're done. You put your journal away. Or you can do bullet points. I'm a bullet point person, so I'll just like bullet point things that I'm thinking about. You can write in letter form if that works for you. I like to call that just free thought journaling. Also, like if you have some really big dreams or even little dreams, like it's good to write them down, get them on paper, and then a couple months from now, you just go back and you kind of look and go, oh yeah, I accomplished that. It's really kind of a cool thing. So a couple things about journaling. It actually improves your cognitive functioning. And it actually strengthens your immune system, which was a surprise to me. But it counteracts a lot of your negative thoughts because you can process them and get them out on paper. So any way that you can journal, it can take you 30 seconds, it can take you 30 minutes. I just encourage you to take that tool and give it a shot.
For someone that's maybe not in the habit of journaling,
Uh-huh.
starting small is okay, right? Because sometimes it feels overwhelming to be like, I got to spend 5 or 20 minutes journaling. But
right.
like you said about like the dot, like the bullet point, it's just a little habit, 30 seconds, get it started.
Mm-hmm. Whatever it is. And that's going to tie into my next piece too. My next tool, which is meditation, which can probably be even more overwhelming and intimidating than journaling. And what I want people to understand is it doesn't have to be long. You can start at 30 seconds, you can start at a minute, and you also don't have to quiet your mind. So a lot of times we're like, I can't meditate, I can't turn my mind off. Well, you guys, your mind was meant to think. It's doing exactly what it's meant to do. You don't have to try and stop it. What we like to do is just get into, of course, we go back to our breathing, right? So we've been practicing our breathing. That can be a form of meditation. So maybe you're sitting for, I don't know, a minute and just doing your deep belly breath or your calm breathing. And that is your meditation because your focus is completely on your breath. So if you're sitting and meditating and you're focusing on your breath, you're going to have thoughts that come in. And 2 visuals I like to give people about your thoughts because they're going to come. You're not going to sit there. Your mind's not going to turn off. We've already established that. So 2 visuals I like to give people are clouds. So your thoughts are a cloud, and the cloud comes in, the thought comes in, and you watch it. You see it go across the sky, and it goes away. Okay, come back to my breath. And then another cloud or thought comes. And it goes back. Okay, come back to my breath. Another visual I like to give is books in a bookcase. So you're doing your meditation, you're taking your deep breaths, and here's your thought. Maybe it's your grocery list. Oh, I gotta go to the grocery store today. So, okay, that's my thought. That's my book. I'm gonna put that book on the bookcase, on the shelf. If it's important, I'll come back to it later because it's there. You're coming back to it. You're not ignoring it. Okay, come back to my breath. Oh, yeah, I need to take the dog to the vet. Okay, yeah, got that book. Put it on the bookcase. If it's important, I'll come back to it later. And you just continually do that. And the more you practice, the better you're going to get. And even if you've practiced for years, you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. Just like anything else. You're going to have days where you sit for 10 minutes and you're like, that was so fast. And you're going to have days where you sit for 2 minutes and you go, you're looking at the clock. You're like, when is this going to be over? It's human nature. But the bottom line is these are just tools for you to use. Now, meditation, couple different kinds of meditation that we can talk about. There's some great apps out there. So the Calm app is great. I like Headspace. That's good too. You can actually go on YouTube and just look for meditations. A lot of times they're, guided with somebody's voice. So I encourage you to be mindful of who you're choosing to listen to and what their message is, because that all gets in your subconscious. So be mindful of who you listen to. You could always just do background music, a nice soothing music. Something I'd like to share with you, and this will kind of tie everything together. I'd like to take you guys through an active relaxation meditation. And I like to do this sometimes laying down. So if you can lay down, feel free, or we can do it seated as well. So we'll just sit, just get nice and comfortable and just let your body relax. You can close your eyes. We're going to take 2 cleansing breaths. So inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. One more time, inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. We're going to start at our feet. So curl your toes under, nice and tight. Release your toes, wiggle your toes, let them relax. Working up your legs to the back of your lower legs, your calf muscles. And tighten those calf muscles. And then let them relax. And as we're going through this again is strengthening that mind-body connection. So we're telling each part of our body to contract or relax. And again, that can take time. So if it's not all coming together for you right now, please give yourself grace and do not be frustrated. Just do what you can. And we'll move back up your legs to your kneecaps. Pull up on your kneecaps. And let them relax. Working up to the top of your legs, the big muscles on the back and front of your legs, your hamstrings and your quadriceps. Just tighten them up. And then release them, let them relax. We come to our glutes and we tighten our glutes. And release. Let your glutes relax. Pull your belly in nice and tight. And then let it relax. Coming up to your rib cage. Think about pulling the 2 sides of your rib cage in together toward the midline of your body. And then release and let it relax. Pull your shoulders up towards your ears. Scrunch your shoulders. Release your shoulders down. Let them relax. Think about your shoulder blades resting down your back. Tighten your biceps and your triceps, the tops of your arms, and let them relax. Tighten your forearms. Let them relax. Make fists with your hands nice and tight. Release your fists, wiggle your fingers, and let them relax. Coming back up to your head, clench your teeth. Unclench your teeth, relax your jaw. Let your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. Scrunch your nose, make a mad face, let your eyebrows come together. And then soften your face and your forehead. And completely relax. Bring your hands to heart center in prayer position. We'll bring our hands to that space between our eyebrows we call our third eye, with the intention to think clearly. We'll bring our hands to our lips with the intention to speak truly. And we bring our hands back to heart center with the intention to love deeply. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. And then wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, come back into the space. And there you are. You just meditated. So that is my Creating Calm in Chaos workshop. Again, you have 4 tools now: your breath work, your movement, your journaling, and your meditation. So you can use those tools together or separately at any time, any place to help center yourself.
I love the fact that you gave us a guided meditation because I think there's a lot of people that think meditating means sitting for hours. And
It's
it's
so,
not at all true.
it's so true. You can do walking meditation, and those are actually great. You know, we talked a little bit about grounding. If you can go outside barefoot and walk and meditate, that's awesome.
I think I like the working the way up the body too because I think I'm quite good with my body, but like you said, even trying to contract some of the muscles, I was like, wow, this is harder than I was anticipating it would be. Some were easy.
Yeah, yeah.
It was neat.
And it does. It gets easier over time. The more you, just like anything, you got to practice everything. It's like in yoga, we call it a practice because it's a practice, the yoga practice.
So what would you say, like for you when you were learning all of this? I mean, obviously I feel like totally relaxed right now. It's just like you said, that calm, feeling. And it's just like, wow, now I feel like I could go out, with a much clearer head, with a much calmer body and do things. Um, would you tell people like, if you're going to start by journaling, then start just with a little bit of journaling, or if you want to try meditation, start with a little bit of meditation, and not necessarily you have to do all four every day.
Exactly. It really go with whatever resonates with you. If you just cannot get into the writing piece of journaling, don't do it. If these things, these tools to help you calm, if they stress you out, don't do it. These are tools that have worked for me because I did suffer with some pretty serious anxiety. You know, I took on the weight of the world. I was always worried about my work and my family and where my kids. Was I being a good mom? If I was at work, I was worried I was a bad mom. If I was momming and I was thinking I was leaving something off at work. So the anxiety was real. So these are tools that, I have kind of gathered through over 20 years of practicing. So they're not the only ones. There's more out there. So I just say explore and find what works for you. But take time for yourself because you got to take care of you. The self-care, the mental health care is so important, especially during the times like we're living through today.
I think that's such a good reminder, especially, I mean, like you said, as a mom, it's like you're worried about family, you're worried about work, you're worried about this, you're worried about this. And as you said, right, when we started, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah. We try.
We try really hard.
And then it catches up to you. So something's got to give. And, you can do it all, but you can't do it all at the same time. So, you got to look at what season of life you're in and what you can put more time to in this season. And it's going to constantly change. And you got to constantly check in with yourself and be real with where you are and what your goals are and your time and be protective of your time and your energy. It's not infinite. Time obviously isn't infinite, and our energy is not infinite. So make sure you're on top of these, make sure you're getting rest, that you're hanging out with people that make you feel good. Get rid of those toxic relationships. For me, that was huge. And in my case, it was a work environment I had to leave. So it just takes some self-reflection on getting things right.
I gotta ask, just because I know there's probably a lot of people out there going, how do I know if it's toxic or if it's just me, or if it's like, how did you know it was toxic, and how long from realizing that before you were able to take that step?
Yeah. So I worked there for 20 years and it was not always toxic. It wasn't. It was a very pleasant place to work, but I'm going to say probably 10 years ago, things started changing, and it was subtle. And so I would say to people, just be on the lookout and be aware for things that change, right? So things started to change, and I knew it wasn't like it used to be. But yeah, it's okay, and I'm making my money, and they pay me every month, and I'm pretty flexible. I can get my kids if they're sick, so I kind of justify, right? And then it just continues to get worse and worse. But what you've done now is you've normalized that. So it's very subtle. So things start getting worse and worse and worse. But you're like, yeah, but it'll be all right. And then something happens in my case, it was a pretty big thing that happened amongst the owners at work. And it was just like, boom. And it was like, then I knew, I'm like, okay, I cannot do this anymore. I was suffering from, and I still have Hashimoto's and hypothyroid, low thyroid. And I was diagnosed with all of those back in 2017, so a year before I left. So my body was internalizing it all. So you couldn't tell by looking at me from the outside. You probably think I was pretty healthy, because I was one of those people that bottled everything in, and just it will manifest somehow. I promise you. I don't know how for you. For me, it was autoimmune. So um, since I've left that situation, I've gotten a better handle on my Hashimoto's. It's not nearly like it used to be. I'm much better at taking time for myself and not feeling guilty about it. And just overall, just my mental health is much better. So I don't know. Did that answer your question?
Totally. I just think, I mean, I love how you said we started justifying it. You started justifying, and we do, because I think, there's probably not many people out there listening that haven't come across a toxic situation, whether that's with family members, friends, like you said, it can be in a variety of different ways. But I just really wanted to ask, because when you said, be mindful of where your energy is at,
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, it manifested in your own physical body. And I think, sometimes, I don't know if it's us as women or if it happens to men too. I would love to ask one, but it's almost like we become so good at justifying things. It's almost like we feel guilty leaving
Yes.
toxic situations, but yet that's the very thing we need.
Yes.
And I just really wanted to ask, because I'm sure there are people out there that can relate, that are either have a similar experience and have been able to move forward, or in the middle of it and scared. And can I do this? Can I not? Is this toxic? Is it not? What do I need to do? What can I do? And what do I have the guts to do, even for some people? So.
And it's like everything I think I was saying before. It's like, you don't have to make this decision right now. Like, you can just start becoming aware. Like, okay, like okay, now I'm questioning this relationship. Okay, well, that doesn't mean that you need to sever ties right then. Just take the time. Okay, now you're aware. Like, get your feelers out, your little alarm system that goes off, your radar, and just maybe that's what you journal about. Maybe you get out your journal and you start saying, I'm unsure about this. If you are someone who prays, pray about it. Just get it out there and then just start. And, for me, it took a really long time. Like, I probably stayed in that situation definitely 5 years, longer than I should have. It doesn't have to be that long for you, but I guess just the point I want to get across is, like, you don't make rash decisions. Just take time and process.
I love that, because I think it just applies to so many aspects of life too. Start bringing that awareness, whether it's around food and toxic food in your body, whether that's around, exercise, and do you use exercise as a punishment, or do you use it to nourish your body, or relationships, or work, or, we can kind of apply it to everything. And I think it's important to get those reminders. And just like you say, that first step is just the awareness. Because sometimes, like you say, things can change actually for the better when the awareness is there. Doesn't, like you say, it doesn't have to be that cutoff. But
And
awareness.
Sorry, but sometimes you just cute something in my head is sometimes it's something in yourself that you can change. And how you react to this person or this situation actually turns things around for the positive. So yeah, we always have to remember that we have the power. It's inside. We have the power for ourselves. We get to choose. We get to write our story. Don't give the pen to anybody else to write your story. Write it yourself.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I think that's, back to the whole purpose of calm in the chaos is we're able to see things better when we're not up here all the time too. Whether that's a situation, whether that's your health, whether that's, all of these pieces, taking that time to come down and ground and find calm, like you said, even if it's just starting with 60 seconds a day, puts us in that better perspective to move forward in a healthier, but more positive way.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I have Lisa's information for you. So if any of this resonated, I can't speak today, resonated with you, please reach out to her. Like she says, she works with people one-on-one. She works with groups. Again, can you imagine taking something like this into your work or your business? Like everybody coming down would be, I'd love to hear what that real estate company and how they move forward, because I think it's such a gift to be able to, as a team, get on board with something like that.
Yeah, I was so impressed that they had the foresight to see how important it is for their team, for their employees to have some mental health and just general wellness. So yeah, happy to help any way I can. So please, anybody, just reach out.
Yeah, reach out, ask, if there's something you'd like to learn more or learn more about each aspect, please reach out to Lisa. Like she's just demonstrated. She's got lots of tools and it's hard to just snapshot, right? Like it's hard to kind of come in and just give that little piece. So if there is something you want to learn more about, or you're like, oh my gosh, I need this and I just don't know how to start, please reach out. She's wonderful.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. So happy to have you. And we will see you tomorrow for our next episode.